Okay, gang. In between this video and the last video, I figured out Google Drive. So this should be better now. But so I was a little bit wrong. You're supposed to introduce the next case study in body 3. Body 2, you're just like explaining what your first case study is. So you take 2 paragraphs for each case study. But yeah. So your first and third body paragraph, you're going to introduce your case studies, and then for your second and fourth, you kind of describe what they are. And so then in your conclusion, you kind of like, this is your time to wrap it up. So you kind of like recap what your thesis was, and then like kind of very quickly go over your like studies and the research that you already explained, kind of like do big picture. This recap is only going to take like 2 or 3 sentences. Your next part is your synthesis. Kind of compare and contrast your studies. How do they support each other? Like, you know, triangulate. And then do they contradict each other? And if so, like, explain like anything that's really apparent. And then conclude. Take like 1 sentence to really just like this is over, like we're done, wrap it up, your argument's over. And this is kind of like, if you had to choose 1 sentence to show, oh my goodness, to show like the examiner, this is your 1 sentence. This is your main idea. This is your big picture. Like, this is it. So when you wrap up, really try and like take time to do it well. And then this goes back to like making sure you understand it. IB wants you to be able to critique it and wants you to be able to, sorry, something just flew in my face. And wants you to be able to kind of like propose ideas for like future research. So I have a little outline. So if your study lacks ecological validity, which means that like it doesn't really make sense for the real world, it doesn't really apply very well, try and like propose future research that's more like realistic, more like real life situations. If your study is from specifically like one place, so like if it's specifically American or like specifically like, I don't know, I think there's some from the UK that were only from the UK. If it's like only those, especially if it's cultural, go ahead and propose like other countries, different participants, better sampling, that kind of thing. If most of the research is mainly correlational, try and design an experiment that would sort of like define kind of like a cause and effect of like what's going on. And like in those, like, are there other explanations that have yet to be considered? Talk about possible causes. And then when you're critiquing, kind of like, what have they not covered? What do we still not know? How could further research help us answer questions that we still have? So my last question was like, how much does this weigh? Like, big picture, what do I need to do? This year you have 2 components of your IB psychology grade. The first one is the IA. Thank God we're like wrapped up with that and don't have to worry about it. This is 35% of your grade. We know that that's 22 marks. And then paper 1, which is like what we're studying for right now, the 3 SAQs and the ERQ. This is 49 marks and is worth 65% of your grade. So it's worth considerably more than your IA. but like if you did really well on your IA, it should really like help you in like getting a decent grade. So yeah, that's the end of my review videos. We're done, yay.